Shalom and welcome back to the Messianic Hour. I'm your host, Rabbi Scott. The show is dedicated to reaching the lost and educating the found. I'm glad you're with us today. And I want to encourage you, go to our website, rabbiscott.com. While you're there, you can sign up for our free newsletter. We give you a free book, I Have a Friend Who's Jewish, Do You, and a prophecy card. 70 key prophecies, where they're found in the Torah, where they're fulfilled in the renewed covenant, and how you can share to your unsaved, both Jewish and Gentile friends. It's our way of saying thank you for signing up. Remember, we're also available on Twitter. You can watch the radio shows and our weekly teachings and congregational service on YouTube, Vimeo, Cross TV, pretty much all the different platforms. So we want you to join us. You can also watch Beth Adonai live during our live streaming as well, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., starting Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. for our service. But we have a great segment for you. We've been talking about it last week, the Miracle of Israel. This is a hour-long video that has been produced by our good friend, Rabbi Jonathan Bernis, and we have Rabbi Bernis with us today. Jonathan, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate you having me on.
Jonathan, you and I have worked together for many years, and I think this is probably one of the greatest outreaches here in the United States. Why don't you tell the viewers a little bit of how you had this vision to bring on this video of the Miracle of Israel?
Well, Scott, I was just looking over emails to try to get the dating because I've been telling people it's the culmination of a 3-year vision. I was wrong. It's 6 years. It's almost 6 years ago that I really began to have this burden to do something here in America to reach the more than 6 million Jewish people. And that you heard me right, 6 million Jewish people living in America. Our ministry, Jewish Voice Ministries International, has been primarily focused on Jewish communities overseas in great need, like in Ethiopia, India, Zimbabwe. But the majority of the largest Jewish population in the world is here in America. So I wanted to do something to reach them, and it was clear to me that the way to reach Jewish people is in their own home, as they sit back in their leather-bound easy chairs and bring it into their home. And that's where this program originated from, the idea of something that we could air on secular television where Jewish people would be drawn to hear the gospel in a sensitive way. And out of that came this project, The Miracle of Israel, that retells the miraculous story of Israel's survival and rebirth as a nation.
You know, Jonathan, and you have it, it's an hour-long video. It's going to be airing here in Atlanta this Saturday at 7 to 8 p.m. on WXIA Channel 11. That's NBC. I want to encourage you. We've been encouraging people all week, last 2 weeks, to watch it. We've been putting ads out. We want you to go watch this. Tell your unsaved friends, both Jew and Gentile, about this. It's a great opportunity to share your faith and to learn about the Miracle of Israel. It's going to be on also 7 other states, 7 other cities throughout the United States this week as well. And you can go to our website, rabbiscott.com, for a link to the Miracle of Israel. And there's also, you can go right to the miracleofisrael.com website as well and get all that information. Jonathan, the one of the main things that really amazed me is who you got for this production. You have several people, but the narrator, why don't you tell us how that happened, how you got Leonard Nimoy to narrate the show?
Well, sure, Scott. When as the project began to evolve, I thought of only one name to do this, and that was Leonard Nimoy. His voice is so distinct, and I just knew from early on he was the man to do it. So eventually our production company contacted his agent, and his agent didn't even want to negotiate. They just said, no, he's not in. We're not interested. I insisted. We went back a second time. The agent said no. There was points along this project that I became very discouraged, and at one point I said, I'm ready to give up, Lord. And I just felt, try Leonard Nimoy one more time. So I pushed the production company. They didn't want to go back to Nimoy's agent, but they did. I insisted. And this time the agent said, well, he may do it, but this is going to cost more money. long story short, we negotiated with them, and Leonard Nimoy ended up narrating this hour-long documentary, and he did a fantastic job. So I really felt that was an answer to prayer and a sign that we were to continue on with this project to get it to the finish line, and that God was in it. And so it was a real encouragement, Scott, for me that Leonard Nimoy agreed to do it at a time when I was ready to give up.
You know, it's an amazing story, and obviously you and I go back many years. We're both big Star Trek fans, but the show is kind of like the old In Search of show that he did for many years, and it really it's a great sense of history, but you also interweave the understanding of the 4 great miracles that really are taking place. We got about 4.5 minutes left. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the show begins with the miracle of Israel's survival and the restoration of the state of Israel, or the land of Israel, to the Jewish people, and the UN vote, and this nation coming out of the ashes of the Holocaust. That was the first miracle, the survival of the Jewish people and the restoration of the land of Israel. Then we ask the question, if this was an ancient Bible prophecy, that it was fulfilled, written hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, what other things does the Bible say will happen? And we look at 3 of them specifically. We look at the regathering of the lost tribes of Israel to the nations of the world, places like Ethiopia, India, Russia, China. The Jewish people are returning as a direct fulfillment of Isaiah 11 and many other prophecies. I will regather you from the nations of the world. That's a miracle. Then we look at the movement to rebuild a temple in Jerusalem, and that movement is growing. And we talk about that and the centrality of the temple in biblical Judaism. And then we finish with the question, who is the Messiah? The rise of Messianic expectation in Israel has been a phenomenon, a miracle. Right. And so we ask the question, who was the Messiah? Was it Rabbi Schneerson, the Lubavitch rabbi, or could it be someone else that we've overlooked? And for Messianic Jews, we believe that Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, is our promised Messiah, and we present that as a conclusion to the film and then offer a free book.
You know, it's amazing, Jonathan, because you have not only Leonard Nimoy, who is Jewish, you have several people from the Temple Institute, including Gershon Solomon, and we were actually the first Messianic congregation that he ever spoke at, because he just wouldn't speak at Messianic congregations. He'd speak at churches and others. To see this kind of opening, I know you had some resistance, but what were their understanding, or how did they respond when you went to them and said, we want you to be a part of this? Well,
these rabbis, Gershom Solomon and 2 other rabbis, are just really lovers of God. You can feel their spirituality coming through. In my opinion, Scott, Gershom Solomon is the star of the show.
Yeah.
He just shares from his heart the amazing miracle of him being spared death in a battle during the War of 67, where a tank had run over him, and he was laying on the field of battle, and he heard the Jordanians closing in on him, and then they fled. Later, he found out that they had a vision, saw a bright light, and an angel told them, go away. Amazing story, but these guys are just sharing that they're confident that the Messiah is going to come soon. They just don't realize yet that he's Yeshua, but they will.
Right. Well, I want to encourage the people. You can go. It's in 7 cities this week. What are those 7 cities, real quick?
Atlanta, of course, Dallas, Miami, Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Tampa, Phoenix, and Miami.
And so you can go to our website, rabbiscott.com. We have a direct link. You can also go directly to themiracleofisrael.com. You can also purchase this DVD. It's a great opportunity. I want to encourage you to go visit their website. And again, tell your friends, watch this TV show. It is excellent. This Saturday from 7 to 8 on Channel 11 NBC right here in Atlanta. Check the listings in your area. Until next week, this is Rabbi Scott and Judy saying shalom and pray for the peace of Jerusalem.